Outside the office window, dozens of girls sat in salon chairs while stylists installed wigs on their heads. Bone-straight wigs gleamed under the lights. Laughter filled the room. Customers took selfies in front of the mirrors. Many of them believed they had just gotten the best deal in Lagos. Because at Ada Locks Hair Empire, luxury hair was unbelievably cheap. A 13-inch bone-straight wig that other vendors sold for 400,000 naira or more could sometimes be found here for 200,000 naira, sometimes even less during promotions. People never understood how she did it, but customers didn't question good deals. They only kept coming back, and business kept growing. What nobody inside that salon knew was that Ada's empire had not been built by hard work alone. There was something else behind it, something far darker, and the story of how it all began was far from glamorous. By midday, the Lekki branch of Ada Locks Hair Empire was already louder than a busy marketplace. Customers kept pouring in. The front desk cashier was already sweating slightly as she counted bundles and processed payments. POS machines beeped constantly. Transfer alerts came in without stopping. Large brown branded bags were passed across the counters one after another. Inside Ada's office upstairs, the numbers were even more impressive. The business dashboard showed live sales from all 3 Lagos stores. Lekki, 8.4 million naira. Ikeja, 6.1 million naira. Aja, 4.3 million naira. And the day was still far from over. Ada leaned back in her chair. This was exactly the type of life she had dreamed about. The type of life where money flowed so easily that counting it almost felt pointless. She picked up her phone again and opened Instagram. A notification appeared immediately. Influencer post tagged you. She tapped it. The video showed a well-known Lagos influencer sitting inside the Lekki salon while a stylist installed a 26-inch bone-straight wig on her head. The camera zoomed in on the hair. It was silky, thick, perfectly straight. Guys, I swear this is the best hair I've ever worn in my life. And guess what? I got it from Ada Locks Hair Empire. You people need to run there now. She flipped the hair dramatically. Look at this shine. Within minutes, the video was already gathering thousands of views. Ada smiled. Influencers were part of her strategy. Some of them she paid, others came willingly because they also loved the prices. Either way, it always produced the same result: more customers. Around 1 p.m., the salon became even more crowded. The waiting area filled completely. Some customers had to stand while waiting for their turn to get their wigs installed. Stylists moved quickly between chairs. Scissors snipped lace carefully. Hair straighteners hissed softly. Large mirrors reflected rows of women admiring their new looks. Every now and then, someone would shout happily, "Ah, this hair is beautiful." Friends recorded videos while laughing. TikTok clips were made on the spot. One customer turned to her friend and whispered loudly, "I don't understand how she sells it this cheap." Her friend nodded. "Same. I bought that hair last year somewhere else for 450,000 naira. Another customer joined the conversation. "I heard she imports directly from Vietnam. That's why it's cheap." Someone else said confidently, "She just likes helping young girls." That explanation had spread widely across Lagos. Ada herself often said it during Instagram lives. "I remember when I couldn't afford good hair. I know how it feels. That's why I keep my prices low so other girls can enjoy luxury too." People believed it, and that belief made them love her even more. Upstairs in her office, Ada watched everything through the glass walls. Her assistant entered quietly. "Ma, the Abuja boutique manager just called." Ada looked up. "What did she say?" "They are requesting approval for the new shipment from Turkey." Ada nodded slightly. "Tell them to go ahead." Her assistant wrote it down. "Also, the Vietnam supplier sent pictures of the new bone straight batch. Send them to me." Seconds later, her phone buzzed again. Images appeared on the screen. Bundles of thick black hair lay neatly on a factory table. Lengths ranged from 18 inches to 34 inches. Premium raw hair. Exactly what Lagos girls loved. Ada studied the photos carefully. Then she typed a short message to the supplier. "I'll take 300 bundles." The reply came almost instantly. "Shipment ready within 3 days." Ada closed the chat. Traveling for hair had become a regular part of her life. Every month, she flew abroad at least once, sometimes to China, sometimes to Vietnam. She would walk through giant warehouses filled with raw hair bundles stacked like fabric rolls.
She personally selected the best ones: bone straights, double drawn, HD lace wigs. Her suppliers already knew her standards. Anything below perfect was rejected immediately. That attention to quality was another reason her brand dominated the market. Customers trusted her. If the hair came from Ada Luxe Hair Empire, it would be good. Later that afternoon, Ada finally decided to walk downstairs. The moment she appeared, the energy in the salon shifted again. Staff straightened, customers whispered excitedly. Some people nudged their friends. "That's her. That's Ada." She moved slowly between the salon chairs, observing the walk. Stylists greeted her respectfully. "Good afternoon, ma. Good afternoon, ma." She stopped beside one chair where a young woman admired her reflection. The hairline looked perfect. The hairline blended naturally. Ada nodded approvingly. "Good work," she told the stylist. "Thank you, ma." Another customer approached nervously. "Excuse me, can I take a picture with you?" Ada hesitated briefly, but eventually agreed. The girl smiled widely while her friend snapped the photo. Moments later, it appeared on Instagram. "Just met the queen of hair herself." Ada continued walking through the store. To outsiders, she looked like the perfect example of success. A self-made businesswoman, a hardworking entrepreneur who had built an empire from nothing. Someone young girls admired and hoped to become. But behind that image, behind the luxury stores, behind the millions of naira flowing through her accounts, there was a secret that began many years earlier. Back when Ada was not rich, back when she was not famous, back when she was just another struggling hair vendor, sitting in a small room, desperately refreshing her phone and hoping for one sale. And the desperation of those days had pushed her toward a decision that would change everything. A decision that would open the door to something dark, something that could never be undone. Before the chandeliers, the glass walls, the luxury cars, and the millions of naira, Ada was just another girl with a dream and almost no money. She started in a tiny room in Ikeja where her mother had once allowed her to set up a small table and a few chairs. The walls were peeling, the floor uneven, and the air was thick with the smell of old paint and dust. On that table sat her only inventory, 2 cheap bundles of hair she had bought from a vendor she barely trusted. Every day, she would sit in front of her phone, a small mirror behind it, and post pictures on Instagram. She would write captions like, "Premium bone straight hair, only 15,000 naira for first 2 buyers." Every night, she would refresh her page, staring at 0 likes and 0 messages. Hours passed, nothing. Sometimes the comments were mocking. "Who even buys this? Cheap hair, cheap girl." Her heart sank, but she tried to keep hope alive. She knew if she could just get 1 sale, maybe 2, she could start building momentum. But momentum never came. She barely had money to buy new bundles. Every sale barely covered the cost of the previous ones, and sometimes she lost money when customers demanded refunds or complained the hair was too thin. She watched other vendors thrive, flaunting luxury cars and large followings. The jealousy gnawed at her. She could not understand why they succeeded while she struggled. It was during this period of desperation that Ada met Tosin, a childhood friend who had entered the hair business years earlier. Tosin had grown wealthy. She owned multiple salons across Lagos, imported hair directly from China, and traveled overseas for stock. Her Instagram was full of influencers, celebrities, and endless praise. Ada approached her cautiously. "Tosin, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I try, I post, I work hard, nothing happens." Tosin studied her for a long time. Then she hesitated. "It's not just hard work," she said quietly. "There are other ways." Ada frowned. "Other ways?" Tosin lowered her voice. "There's someone I know, a native doctor. He can help, but it's not small. He'll require sacrifices." Ada froze. The word made her stomach twist. I can't do that," she whispered. Tosin put a hand on her shoulder. I understand, but do you want